Good afternoon, Dwayne here, Dry Creek Wrangler School. Sitting on the front porch, we've been enjoying the rain. It's been raining all day, and we needed it desperately. And so we've been enjoying that. So I decided I wanted to go ahead and make a quick video. It shouldn't be a long video. This is a follow-up video to the last one I just posted on this channel about improving the trot. And there were some questions came up and on that, and so legitimate questions, and so I want to address that. Having a pipe this evening. I'm not sure who made it. The initials are CRH. I picked it up at a pipe show about 3 years ago in Columbia, Tennessee, and really enjoying it. And I'm smoking some John Cotton double press Kentucky. First time I've tried that, and I'm really liking that. So the video, and I'm not going to go over everything in the video. The video was predominantly about helping your horse relax. Young horses, horses who haven't done it, are not always comfortable with the trot and carrying somebody on their back. Their head comes up, their back is hollowed, their gait is choppy, they're always rushing and hurrying. So I was addressing that very first start of the deal. And some folks got on and asked, how come you don't post? Somebody got on and said, well, the best way to sit the trot is to post. Now, they might have been just being kind of tongue-in-cheek, but that's not. The best way to sit the trot is not to post. Sitting the trot is sitting the trot. That means your butt stays in the saddle. Posting is a total different action altogether. Now, the reason I don't teach posting, and there's a lot of videos on there about what posting is and how to post, so I'm not going to go through all that on here. I teach people, 90% of everybody that comes through is totally and completely green, okay? And almost everybody that comes through, let's say a lot of them they come through for the purpose of learning to go out and to wrangle dudes, to pack for outfitters in the mountains, or cowboy. I've got students who've come through that are now cowboying on ranches. It's practical riding out there. And everybody else that I want to help are mostly trail riders that are riding through the woods, riding through the meadows, riding across in the mountains, riding in, across the prairies and the sagebrush. And that's what I want. I want people to be out riding practically and safely and comfortably. People will take this as a challenge or as an attack, and it's not, okay? I don't teach arena riding. I don't teach. That's not the purpose of what I do, and therefore a lot of that stuff I don't teach. Now, if you think about it, someone who's very inexperienced and very green, and they don't have that natural balance, balance is crucial. It's incredibly important. They haven't ridden enough where they have their core and everything doesn't have the strength. They're still working on their posture, okay? They're still working on their balance. The last thing they need to be doing out across in the open, outside in the arena, is standing up in the stirrups and coming down in a trot. Your safety, your security on horseback is contact with your saddle. Okay, it's contact with your saddle. And outside of the small window of people who are professionals or who have been trained by professionals who have studied who can properly post, outside of that very small window, most people who will come up out of the saddle during a trot, there's two problems. Number one, their horse is not calm. And therefore that trot is extremely uncomfortable because the horse is uncomfortable. And secondly, the rider is uncomfortable. And that's why they're doing it. And more people who post do not post correctly than those who do post correctly. But to get back to the point, the purpose of sitting the trot is you're in contact with the saddle. Now, if you imagine you're posting and you're half-baked posting, which is what most people who post do, okay, and you're out across a pasture and it hurts. Your butt's popping up and down on the saddle and it hurts. So every other stride, you come up out of the saddle, and you come up out of the saddle. Your legs are not strong. Your core is not strong. You're just coming up out of the saddle because it hurts. And just as you're coming up out of the saddle, a bird flies up out of a bush, or a rabbit takes off out from under a bush, or the horse plows to a stop because he sees a little tiny stream there in the tall grass. What are you going to do? You're going to hit the ground because you're out of contact with your saddle. You're not one with your horse. You're not forking your horse. Your legs are not wrapped around the horse. You're not balanced, and you're going to come out. Okay? I'm not anti-posting. I'm anti-posting when posting is not safe, when posting is not right, when posting is not necessary. I don't teach arena riding. I don't teach English riding. I teach Western riding, and I teach riding out in the real world. Now, I've worked with working cowboys who headed a long trot across a pasture to go a long ways, and they'll post going out through there, especially on certain horses. That's fine. I'm not teaching those guys. Those guys know what they're doing. Those guys are in great shape. Those guys spend hours and hours every day in the saddle, and they're comfortable posting, and they're safe doing it, and that's fine. But at the school, if you're a beginner, if you're not in the best of shape, if you haven't gone through lessons and lessons on how to do it right and make sure you're doing it right, then that's not what I'm teaching. And secondly, whether you can post or not, you need to be able to sit the saddle, balanced and relaxed and comfortable. You need to be able to do that before you learn to post. Okay? If you can only do one, this is my opinion, this is Dwayne. If a rider can only sit the trot or they can only post, and they have that choice, but they only have the one choice, sitting the trot is much more important, in my opinion. So that's why I teach it. Now I want to address another dingbat got on there, and don't try to go look for it because I deleted him. So he just went through and started calling out all the physical conformation issues he saw with my horse, and said what you need to do is just give that horse to trail riders because they're so ignorant they won't know all of his faults, and go get you a horse that's got proper conformation. When I was a kid, I started learning the guitar, and I told my dad after bed, I said I need to go get a better guitar. I just had a pawn shop guitar. And my dad said, no, you don't. He said, when you can learn to play that guitar and make that guitar sound good, then you can get a better guitar and make it sound really good. But if you go get a better guitar because you don't have enough skill to make that guitar sound good, you're always going to be limited in your skill. Okay? Money spent on an instrument will never replace skill. And not everybody has the money and the wherewithal to have a horse that's not doing what they want, and so they just go sell it and just go buy another one. Real people, you dance with the one that brung you. All right, you have a horse. Now maybe that horse has a conformation that does not let it trot smoothly and comfortably. You'll become a better rider, and you'll become a better horseman by working with that horse. So I have no use. I have no use for that kind of nonsense. That's not what this school is. I'm not dealing with people who are going to shows, who are riding in arenas. This is real people in real life riding real horses with real situations that they need real understanding to make real improvements. Okay? All right. So anyhow, so I'm not opposed to posting, but I'm opposed to posting for the wrong person at the wrong time on the wrong horse in the wrong situation. Okay? Because to me it's not safe. There are a couple of other things that are related. I will absolutely call out a student if we're going up a steep hill if they stand up in the stirrups because they think they're making things easier on the horse. We don't do that. If your horse stops to pee, don't stand up. If you are so heavy, you have to stand up out of the saddle so your horse can pee. You've got no business being on a horse in the first place. Okay? Stay in contact with your saddle. You ever give a piggyback ride to a small child and they're all over the place? Okay? They're that far away from your back, then they're against your back, and they're leaning off the side over here, and they're leaning off the side over here, and they're just all over, moving all over. It's not very comfortable. It's not very fun. It's not very easy. It's not very safe. Well, how do you think your horse feels? What your horse actually wants, is for you to find that nice, solid, balanced, even spot and to stay there and to stay out of their way and let them do their job. Okay, now that's Dwayne. That's Dwayne's teaching. That's Dwayne's philosophy. That's Dwayne's experience after all these years. So that's what we do. All right. And now you understand. And if you have a different genre and something works different for you, I've always been, you do what works for you. Okay. And we'll continue to teach this because it's what works for us. I had something else there came into my mind. I said I want to cover that, and then it was gone. So I guess it wasn't that important. So be logical, be reasonable, be safe, and stay in contact with your horse. And we'll catch you guys next time.